Thank you, David. Well, good morning once again. How is everybody? We had quite a debate over this service. Some people wanted to shut Christmas off yesterday when it was over and move into more of an upbeat New Year celebration this morning. And other people thought that'd be a bit too abrupt with all the Christmas decorations up, that we should continue it. So I'd like to take an informal poll for everybody here. You like the Christmas theme this morning? If so, raise your hand. Yes. If you don't, at this point, I think we're stuck with it. Anyway, I welcome you here. I've had a wonderful Christmas holiday. If any of you got to share the Christmas Eve candlelight service, it was just very sacred and beautiful time. And next week, for the first of the year, we do what is called a burning bowl ceremony. And if any of you haven't had a chance to experience that, it is a time to allow yourself to relax and determine what is it in your life that you don't want to be in your life anymore. It might be a bad memory, it might be a sense of anger, it might be a relationship, it might be a conflict, whatever it is that disturbs your sense of well-being or your peace of mind, and that's the time to release it. And we don't say get rid of it, and we don't say suppress it, but we simply release it. When we release it, we just bless it. And say, I don't need to carry this any longer. And what happens during the service is we write down on a piece of paper that which we want to release, and then everybody proceeds forward, and there's a big burning bowl here, and we drop it in the fire. And the fire is symbolic of purification. It means that it no longer exists in our mind. It no longer has the weight of a burden. And then the week after that, we do what is called the white stone service. And that's exactly the opposite. And the white stone is a time when we all get a little white tile or a little white stone, and we write down on it what we want to manifest in our lives over the next year, whether it be a joy, greater confidence, a sense of healing, whatever it might be, what you want to come into your life to replace that which you've just released. And we have this beautiful ceremony where we affirm that we will be experiencing that in our lives in the coming year. Many people carry the stone with them throughout the year, just as a reminder. Some have it on their kitchen cupboard or whatever, but it's just that constant affirmation that I can live a life of joy if I choose to do that. I can live a life of excitement and enthusiasm if I choose to do that. And it's just remembering that I don't have to be the way I've always been. If for each of us, our lives are the sum total of all the events that have taken place in our individual past. Our lives are nothing more than a string of events and activities that have brought us to this point in time, and the emotional content of those activities and events has created the person that we are. Now, we all have ups and downs, and we all have fits of anger, we have bouts of happiness, but it's like the overriding themes of our lives that really create the disposition that we carry forth. Now, I do a lot of funerals, and when I'm meeting with the family before the memorial service, or at the time of the memorial service, I can pretty much tell you the kind of person that the deceased was. You can tell by the family members, you can tell by the friends that are coming, you can tell by the energy in the room. Even though it's a sad time and it's a griefful time, you can tell by the way that people are reacting as to what the person was like. Many times during the memorial service, we'll ask friends and family to get up and say a few words. And if a person had a good life, an uplifting life, and had a sense of love about them, when people share their memories, it always turns into laughter. They always begin to laugh at what a beautiful character the person was. And they never think of the difficult times that they went through with that particular person. They think of the uplifting times. About a month ago, I buried a woman, and she had 7 children. And there's a lot of difficulty in the family amongst the children. Some of them hadn't gotten along for many years, but they were all there. When it came time to share stories about their mother, every single one of them that got up to spoke talked about what a horrible cook she was, and gave an example. One of the girls talked how she burned her birthday cake when she was 10 years old and served it to her and all her girlfriends anyway. Nobody could eat it. And everybody was absolutely laughing about how horrible a cook this mother was because she never knew it. Nobody ever talked back. The dad never said anything about how lousy a cook she was. And so she passed on thinking that her cooking was just fine, and now they were just hilariously laughing about it. And you find situations like that. Then there's other times where people gather together, and there's very few words that are spoken about the person. It's like they can't remember any joyful times, or they can't remember any times where the person was really a great benefit to them. There might have been addiction problems or alcohol problems or anger problems or something, but the person just didn't leave a good, lasting impression on those people he left behind. So the point for all of us is to hold those memories that really touch us, those memories that are full of love, that are full of happiness, that are full of joy, that are full of inspiration, and that have deep, intimate contact with other people. Just hold those memories very tightly and recall them on a continual basis. And any memory about anybody or anything that has a sense of dis-ease to it, we can either heal that by looking at it in a different way and deepening our understanding about it, or we can release it and say, I don't need to carry this forward anymore. And so this morning I've asked several people to join us on stage, and if you're certainly welcome to come forward if you'd like, and they're going to share a precious moment about Christmas, one of the favorite Christmas memories that they have. So those that I have talked to earlier in the week, would you come forward, please? Okay.
That's for you.
For me? Okay, well, thank you. It's nice joining you. What I'd like you to do is introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and so the people can get to know you, and then just share a Christmas memory. Yeah.
Good morning. My name is Lisa Allman Baldwin. I've been a member here going on 10 years now. I'm a writer. I've been a freelance writer for 15 years, and I also, this last year, been working out at Unity Village, and I'm a writer in the web content department. And it's funny that when Duke sent me this email to ask me to speak today and to come up with a Christmas memory, it had actually happened the day before. But to get to that, I kind of have to go back real fast. About a year ago, I was here at church, and a couple came up to me, and they said, I saw you and your kids here, and I think we might be neighbors. So we talked, and we figured out we lived 2 blocks from each other. And we said, oh, we should get together sometime, et cetera, all of that stuff. And over the past year, we've just never been able to get it together. I've been invited to their house, they've invited to my house, and we always had things going on and couldn't do it. And over the year, I've only seen them, happened to see them at church, 2, 3, 4 times, and we just talked and keep saying we should get together. So last week, Thursday night, kids and I were having dinner, and we had some friends over, and I see this car pulling in the driveway, and it's one of the people in this couple, and they had a plate full of pastries and this beautiful designer plate, and I had a card on the outside, said for Lisa and the boys, and I was just totally shocked because we really hadn't talked much, hadn't gotten to know each other, never got a chance to get together. So I came back in the house, and I was looking at my friends that were over for dinner, and I was just staring at the plate, and I just said, I can't believe that they did this. I mean, look at this, this gorgeous plate and everything. And, I really don't know them, and I said, I guess it's just kind of, you don't really know what effect you have on people when you think you're just being yourself. And if anyone in here is like me, where for most of your life, for whatever reason, you thought that being yourself was not good enough until you came to Unity, and then the first time you walk in the door, they tell you not only is being yourself way more than good enough, it's fabulous. And as you learn more about that and live more into that and understand it more, and then you start to believe it, that's when people show up at your door with big plates of cookies. Debbie and Diane, I don't know if you're here, but I want to say thank you. And that was my biggest Christmas memory, because what you gave me was way more than what you brought over. So thank you.
Okay, I promise this ends up uplifting. But I want to share with you, 31 years ago today, my mother passed away. And I will tell you, she had ALS, which is Lou Gehrig's disease, if you're familiar with that. And the first thing I learned in my life was she had the determination to spend Christmas with her boys. That was her mantra. I want to spend Christmas with my boys. And she did. And that very next morning, she made her transition and moved to the next spot or on her spiritual journey. And I share that with you because there were a number of years where I allowed that to really determine how I was going to spend my Christmas season. That life isn't fair, everyone else has their mom, all of that stuff. And I have to attribute my shift to coming here because it really allowed me to appreciate all of the lessons that she has taught me that are still with me. The other thing that I have really been able to do since I have been coming here, starting in 2001, is really make the transition into what the season means as it relates to me giving to others. And what she would want me to do, if you will, in giving to others, making sure that I'm doing my part to give others an opportunity to hopefully enjoy the season a little bit more. And the other thing that I thought of when I got the email from Duke is the fact that we really use this time here to move forward. And if any of you are good at playing the old tapes, is anyone else good at doing that? Reliving, recounting, going back? I think it's good to review the past. I mean, right now on TV and in the newspapers and the magazines, everybody's reviewing the year that was. And the good news is we can leave that all behind. Definitely reflect on those things that you liked or those things that you want to do differently. But it's also an exciting time to move forward. And that I attribute to Unity as well. I seem to be using my hand a lot. What's that? But somewhat random thoughts. But it all started truly with my mother and her inspiration. And I'm grateful to be at a place where I know that each and every day I have the opportunity to choose today, to choose this moment in the future that I want. And if you haven't been a part of the Burning Bull service, come, because it is a great chance to also let go of those things that no longer serve you. And my name is Ed Nickel. I forgot to tell you that. Thank you.
Merry Christmas. My name is Linda Dean. I've been coming here for about 20 months, and I am a musician and a part-time litigation paralegal. That's to make the money, but not my real passion. I have had a musical instrument in my hands ever since I was 6 years old. I play about 12 instruments, but 3 or 4 of them are my passion. And one of them is, actually 2 of them are English handbells and choir chimes. I love this instrument. It's really difficult to play. It's a percussion instrument, has about 31 techniques, and I've been playing this for over 30 years. In 2004, a long-held dream of about 4 years came together in that a performance ensemble of other handbell and choir chime musicians came together. We had been trying to do this off and on, and that year, a nationally known conductor and composer and arranger moved to Kansas City for his job. Voila, we finally had a conductor. And if you know anything about English handbells, they are always associated with the Christmas season. So my brothers and sisters and my husband and children were like, do we have to schlep bells again? Because every week it was always going somewhere and playing for someone. And I loved it because it filled a spot in me just to be able to say what the music can say that I felt I couldn't say as well. So the performance ensemble came together, 12 of us, and we'd only been together for 10 months, and we arranged for 9 performances in 3 weeks. And this is our part-time job, so that's pretty heavy duty. And we brought along with us about 72 handbells and 36 choir chimes, so we had 100 instruments to set up, and it takes about an hour. And so our first performance was with the Salvation Army. There's a men's rehab unit, and the men stay in that unit